Hop, 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 hop. Oh. Alors, oula. C'est une connerie. Non. Paris-Nice. Oula. Ouais, ça commence. Est-ce qu'on peut... il y a Zuyo. Il y a Zuyo. D'accord. Ouais, c'est ça. Ouais, c'est ça. Oh. Comment on fait déjà? J'aimerais bien faire... Putain! On peut pas cacher ça. Si, voilà, non. Plein écran. Mode. Ouais. Ah. Bon. Oula. Si c'est bon là. Allez, va. Bon, attends, on va agrandir. Tiny. Il y a Zio quand même. Je crois. Non, ça marche ce bordel. Est-ce que ça marche? Est-ce que ça marche? Ah, ça marche plus. Ah, ça marche. Je sais pas aussi. On a perdu le son. Bah alors. C'est ça que tu me... C'est ça que tu veux pas? Propriété. C'est ça que tu veux pas? Ah non, ça c'était... On voit. Ah, ça a planté. C'est con. Ah. Ça marche.
Only two real opportunities for the real sprinters, and yeah, it's going to be a one where it's an interesting. Look at the names that are in here. There's a lot of guys. I think
60
well, I can get a stage here today or tomorrow, and it's certainly looking that way right from the beginning that they were going to control and the breakaway. As we can see, a strong breakaway, but never any big advantage where there was a possibility of going to the finish.
par échappée de 3, 4, de 6, ça c'est pas mal.
It's a third category climb, 2.5 kilometers long, 4.8% is the average gradient. We've got 4 third cats to come. So the fight for the first prize is on the way. I tell you what, we've got a strong breakaway today, haven't we? Casper Pedersen, he's won a big bike race in Portugal a couple of years ago. Durbridge, we all know about how good he is, particularly in the classics and against the clock. His teammate, Patrick Gamper, is a former national champion in the time trial. Mathis Lebert is a very exciting young rider who's been in many breakaways in the classics. Grignard, we've seen him in breakaways in the Giro before. And Max Walker, the young British rider who started his career really well. Ils
sont bien là aujourd'hui, il fait tellement beau.
And we've got a real quality breakaway.
Well, it's a really strong breakaway, but again, you know, we see right from the beginning that it was a very, very aggressive start again, and when the breakaway did form a good
66 bornes, ils sont dans
too many teams just wanting to control here, never allowed to get that advantage. And we can see now it's 1:15 as we're coming into the terrain where we're going to the first mountain classification, and then they come pretty quickly. You know, it gets lumpy here in this final. The question is, you know, the final out, will that be enough to really test the sprinters? I doubt it, because, you know, we know of, you know, the modern day, the sprinters, most of them, you know, can get up to the shorter climbs quite well, and these are short ones, because, you know, they're only what the first one we have is the longest one. Then after that they're only just over a kilometre long. So I think, you know, if you get into a good position going onto the climb, then you have that little room where you can slip back through the peloton, and, you know, you're still in the peloton as you get over the top. So that will be the tactic, and it looks like it's going to be one of these big massive sprints here this afternoon.
The calm voice of Andreas Clear there, sports director for EF, and Max Walker.
Capteur de fenêtre.
About control and being controlled, and a shrug of the shoulders there from Clear. He knows the score that you were just explaining. Yes, it's a strong break, but there is control. And EF won't be too disappointed with that. They've got good fast finishers here in Marijn van den Berg.
C'est capture. Ah bah, faut que je l'affiche, c'est ça.
Any work whatsoever today, because they've got a man who is being chased by the rest of the teams.
Yes.
Capture de fenêtre.
There's a few teams here with fast men in. They're not doing any work for the moment. They're all just, you know, holding. You can see the front of the peloton is, you know, it's moving all the time here, fighting for position to, you know, to be on the front of the peloton. So, you know, not a team really just controlling it and riding with maybe 2 or 3 riders in the front for a long time. I don't think that was the case all day. It's just in effect, and, you know, riders coming up left and right, and they take up the pace setting, and then they get crowded out a bit and another team appears, and that is, you know, the norm in Paris-Nice. The first stage is always the one where everybody's a little bit nervous in case a team tries something, and at the break just do not get enough of an advantage at all to get out in front, and it's been the case many times, and it's exactly the same here today.
Well, 64 kilometres remain. Olaf Koy yet.
Pour ça.
Still suffering from a virus. Kisbol, though, was going well last weekend. He's a fastest finisher. Not the fastest on paper in the whole bunch, but if it is an aggressive finish, you were saying, Sean, there's a whole host of different sort of sprinters who can climb, or second-tier sprinters here. Just to run through a bit of a list for you. I mean, you've got the likes of Van Uden and Biniam, who are 2 of the fastest riders here, and their teams have been working, but Pascal Ackermann's also here as well. If it doesn't go to that sort of profile of rider, you've then got the likes of Bauhaus, Pithy, Godon. There's also Mesgets, Trentin and Plumers. He's recovered from his dental work, by the way, last week. You've got Fretin and Coquard, Cantor and Turnison. We mentioned Van den Berg and Lamperti. Tiller's here, Plowright, Menton, Turgis. It's an extensive list, this, with Orlus Aular, national champion of Venezuela, there as well. Now then, points on offer for the King of the Mountains competition. At the back here is Patrick Gamper. At the front, going for that King of the Mountains competition, is Max Walker.
C'est bizarre parce que lui, il devrait pas capter.
Sudal quick-step Casper Pearson, I think, who just about got over. We'll have a nice... They do have opportunities in the general with Bache Pantre and Stef Kras. And they've got Bert van Leerberger and Jasper Stuyven here, but Stuyven in the last couple of weeks.
De Bridge, Camper, Walker, Père. Toi, ça, c'est pas les trente blanches. Hein. Le niveau était un peu moins élevé. 1,13, 63 bornes.
He's a lead-out man, and about a guy, yeah, he's a great lead-out. Yeah, he's a great lead-out man. He can piss himself. He's great at, you know, the space there and going for them gaps. Not afraid at all to back off as a lead-out man. It'll be an interesting one to see. Can he, you know, get a stage win here? And it's always difficult. The sprinters, lead-out men, you know, they can do a great job, but they just a lot of them seem to have difficulty in just getting the win. But here, there's a lot of very strong ones up against him.
Over the top of the first climb then, just off to the west of the French capital Paris today, and confirmed that Casper Pearson did take the 3 points. 2 went to Max Walker, 1 to Mathis Lebert.
Mathis Lebert.
We've got a slightly different kit change as well. Cofidis have already changed their kit. We're only in March. That was because of a corporate rebranding. It's not a complete redesign, but the shade of red on the back of their jerseys now very similar to that what you see there of Lotto. There we go.
J'en ai pas.
More of a burgundy for Cofidis. They've got the new logo on there as well.
La vraie qualité va au-delà du design. C'est la sensation d'une lame neuve qui dure encore et encore. Gillette Labs, notre meilleur rasoir offrant jusqu'à 30 rasages confortables par recharge et des lames qui durent jusqu'à 50% plus longtemps que le rasoir 5 lames le plus vendu du marché. Gillette, la perfection au masculin.
Avec Carrefour, goûtons au meilleur du jardin.
Beautiful sunshine today. Not sure I've seen Yveline looking so good. It's normally raining sideways and grey when we're watching racing here. The speed will be picking up on the first little descent now. Next climb comes though just over 10k's time.
Et il arrive avec de grosses ambitions. On se souvient, l'année dernière, il a déjà participé à Paris-Nice. Malheureusement, il était tombé et il avait dû abandonner.
Oui, il était tombé lors de l'étape du mercredi, l'étape qui arrivait du jeudi, pardon, qui arrivait à la côte Saint-André.
Remporté par Lenny Martinez. Oh là là. Arrêtez. Arrêtez. À part pour le contre-la-montre par équipe, 6 et 4 aux arrivées pour les 3 premiers, et puis un sprint intermédiaire lors de chaque étape en ligne. À part le contre-la-montre par équipe, 6 et 4 aux arrivées pour les 3 premiers, et puis un sprint intermédiaire lors de chaque étape en ligne.
On va le faire. On va le laisser là. On les laisse se faire baiser. Barrez-vous. Barrez-vous, monsieur. On va pas se faire... On va se faire gueuler. On va se faire gueuler.
More interesting race, because if you have a real difficult stage where you've, a real difficult mountaintop finish, well then some of the the bigger favourites can maybe pull out an advantage and the race can be over with a number of days to go, where here we might have a lot of riders in close contention all the way to the end, and that makes certainly better for racing, and there's always a possibility that there could be a breakaway and things could change totally. So I think it's a nice parcours. I think it will make it a more interesting race, and there's probably more riders here will say, well, if I can stay in here in these first 2 days, today, tomorrow, that will be the days where some of the GC men might be a bit concerned if it had been windy conditions, but it looks like it's also going to be perfect situation. Today we can see there it's not going to be a problem for the GC men in the end, and the wind conditions are okay. Tomorrow is going to be the same, so looking like it will be a good race, and that's what we need. We need a lot of riders in contention right to the very end, and hopefully that will continue on to the very late part of the race. But yeah, the interesting one, the big ones in there, Ayuso is going to be an interesting one, and the new team, what will he be able to do? He started excellently. Vingegaard, of course, we know he's coming back from not a best start. He had to reschedule his program a bit there with a few hiccups, but he's a rider that can go away, prepare well, and really come into the first race of the season in top shape. So we will see what way it will work out. But there's many other riders here thinking, yeah, I could win this one, and I could certainly make a podium.
We gave you a little list of the sprinters here in terms of, you just mentioned two of the big favourites. Of course, Jonas Vingegaard is the big favourite on reputation. You would say that Juan Ayuso is perhaps the favourite on form, given how good he was in the Algarve. But there's Dani Martinez and Alex Vlasov. You've got Only, Rodriguez and Vokona all in the same Ineos team. McNulty with Sivakov and Arrieta. There's Ivan Bromeo, who won his first stage race last week, and he's part of a Movistar team that are looking good in the time trial, the team time trial this week as well. David Gaudu's here with Ewan Costiu. Lenny Martinez as well, won a stage last year. He's with Damiano Caruso, the old head. The likes of Pache Pintre and Steph Crash are probably outsiders at Soudal Quick-Step. Last year, Nicolas Prodhomme suddenly became a stage racer, didn't he? He won a couple of small stage races in France. There's young Juan Guillermo Martinez, who's been in and around the top 10 of stage races recently. He races for Picnic Postinel. Mathis Rondel with a similar story, the young Frenchman at Tudor. Yonis Aguirre, well, he's been around this race more than most. Harold Tejada, always a good bet for a top 10 somewhere. Eddie Dunbar, your compatriot, Sean, is one to watch at Pinarello Q36.5. And Torsten Trein, remember him from the Vuelta last year. He's now with Uno X Mobility. Another rider to watch. There are plenty of options in the general classification. And of course, a parcours that goes south. Tomorrow we go to Montargis, then it's the team time trial. After that, an uphill finish in Ushant, another difficult day. Further south after that, then it's at Oran up in the high mountains, and then a reshaped final stage around Nice. But let's start today, and let's start by listening to a fast finisher, Luke Lamperti.
From Australia recovered quite well and trained into opening weekend. Opening weekend was good. Both days were okay. I felt good, so hopefully this week the fitness is good and we can go for some wins.
On a tout cas, c'est...
Yeah, of course, we're quite similar riders. He's also going well. I'm going well, and I think we'll have to see. We'll have to see in the final. It's a good day for me. Normally, I will do the sprint, but we have to see also what.
Et de retour. Bon, je peux faire ça là.
There's actually not so many teams to to control, so it could be quite open.
Ah.
Well, that's interesting. Not too many teams to control. I mean, that part, since he did the interview at the start, that's been fairly well done until this point, because breakaway, even though it's a strong one's only got 1 minute and 7 seconds, but controlling the other teams, going after attacks could be interesting.
Yes, but it's going to be difficult for any attacks from here on in. You know, it's still, you know, some of that 54 kilometers to go, but you can see the way the race is going here. It's so nervous. You know, everybody wants to be in a position, in control, where they have their sprinter in a good position. Also the GC there to be careful, because you have to stay to the front end of affairs from here all the way to the finish. And yeah, for anybody
perdu le son. Vas-y. C'est comme ça. Hein. C'est comme ça. Oh, le son, mais c'est pas... Il a planté. Il a planté. C'est comme ça. D'accord. Il a planté. C'est comme ça.
thinking about in this race. And yeah, also the team time trial coming up, that's another one the teams will be just get through those first 2 days here in the team time trial, see what the position at the end of that one on that evening, and then take it from there. But there is teams here and riders know we have a team to do this team time trial and we're going to win it.
Non, toi tu t'en vas, je te dis. Non.
GC favorites.
Non, voilà, toi tu t'en vas pour des définitifs.
Paris this year is almost like 3 days. Get the team time trial out the way, and then it's a different race. A lot of reassessment will happen. Who's in the GC, who's out? Can we go for breakaways? Can't we? And of course, there'll be no sprint opportunities left at all after day 2. Certainly not mass bunch sprints. Today could be one, but we've heard from Luc Lamperti that he thinks it could be a bit difficult for some of the thicker leg sprinters, even talking about his teammate there, Manen Vandenberg. He thinks it suits him better, but they would have to see. Talked about maybe difficulty controlling. And maybe that's why EF managed to put a rider up in the break there and not have to do any chasing. It's almost time to go climbing in a classified sense again. This is a little unclassified climb they're on now that comes before the next third cat. If you're just tuning in, the first of 27 classified climbs at this Paris-Nice was won by the 3 points taken there already here by Casper Pedersen. That's the River Seine. In the nice quiet suburbs outside of Paris.
Almost.
And twists and turns a lot going east until you get to Paris. And this is the peloton that's twisting, turning, and is a bag of nerves on the first day in Paris-Nice. We all know that we always look for the wind forecast, don't we, on days 1 and 2. It's calm and quiet today. And I might be about to disappoint a few people here, Sean, but it's calm and quiet for tomorrow as well. There is hardly any wind forecast on the way to Montargis. Little bit of a headwind breeze, maybe. Couple of sections where it could be across the road, but nothing like what it can be at this time of year. It's very still forecast for tomorrow.
Donc 1:03, faire attention, ça va finir au sprint.
1:03:50. right for Biniam today. Had a really good start, didn't he, Biniam? And you just feel that maybe that momentum has sort of dived down a little a month since that win. He could do with another win to sort of kickstart it again today, couldn't he?
Yes, I think a win here in this one, would give him that morale boost for the races coming up, and the one-day races, the classic races, which targeting some of them. And if you can get a win here today, tomorrow, I think that's what you need to just refresh that good feeling. And
Toujours 6 échappés.
Really good. Before we had the opening weekend in Belgium last weekend, I thought he would be a bit more up there in the final and in the shake-up, but it's a one where you really get a test in those races, like the Newsblad last Saturday, where they are really difficult races. But for a guy, a sprinter, that doesn't mean he's going to be really good here today, because it's just a different sort of race once again here, and he can be protected so well by the team here. We can see that they're doing a really good job.
Voilà la côte de Vaux-sur-Seine, 1,4 à 7% quand même. Pas sûr que ça se finisse pour les sprinters, mais un coup à bloc, ça pourrait faire.
There's never been an African stage winner or leader at Paris-Nice. Biniam Girmay is today to be the day. His team are around him, they're working for him.
Comment elle s'appelle déjà?
It's a team that this year is complete support. The likes of Aski, and you've got Boivin here, Louvel and Mullen.
Côte.
Young Riley Sheehan with Tom van Arsbrook. It's a strong lead out.
Côte de Seine.
Down the left-hand side, they've occupied that position as we look at it, really since the television coverage started. And same on the other side. Picnic Postenel have been up there all day. They really believe in Casper van Uden, and they need to believe. Both they and EF Education Easy Post are the only World Tour teams with a big fat 0 in the wins column at the moment. Still only March, but it's dragging on now, isn't it? Another week or two and people get nervous.
Bon, c'est une étape d'entraînement. Ils sont comme à l'entraînement.
And the rider pulling at the front for NSN's Ryan Mullen. Moved over from Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe over the winter. There is Jonas Vingegaard in conversation with Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe rider. That rider's Danny Martinez. Now then, Max Walker there at the back, shake of the foot and ready to go. The bottom of this descent is when we get to the start of the next climb. That's the Côte de Vaux-sur-Seine.
Voilà, Vaux-sur-Seine.
It's been a while for Soler to get back after that bike change. Here it is then, 1.4 kilometres long, 7% average. Again, 3, 2 and 1 points available at the top. And there are as many as 4 classified climbs today, so the battle for the King of the Mountains points.
King of the
Should go at least till the next climb, we think, unless there's some big movement in the peloton. Before then, we'll be having a first passage of the finish line. Second passage of the finish line will see an intermediate sprint as well.
We can see here it's starting to kick off. He's going for a long one here because there's probably 500-600 metres to the top, I reckon, here, but you could space there, 2-3 bikes.
He seems the one interested here to take the one. So Lebert and Walker in second place joint with 3 points each. It's a comfortable lead for now for Casper Pedersen. Second joint. I see Durbridge and Gamper there. Gamper's the rider wearing 114, the Austrian. Really good strong engine, the former Austrian time trial champion. And Grignard's more the climber type in the whole group really, but he's not been interested. This was that move again. You spotted that a company mile.
Yes, well, he did it well, as I said, and unfortunately they reacted immediately, and you know, he did not just get the gap on the rest here, and he was always going to be followed from that point on. And we can see here in the sprint he put in a big effort here, and I think he knew as well that was the reason he went in the attack. If I wait for the sprint to the line, the outright speed, I don't have it.
You asked how it would look in the peloton. This is the answer. Could finish with Yonis Aguirre being kept up towards the front. Right inside those yellow sleeves. The gap is 112 to the front of the breakaway. Keep your eye on these GC riders as well. I mentioned the second time around the finish line on the loop we'll have an intermediate sprint. There are 6, 4 and 2 bonus seconds at each intermediate sprint on these Paris stages this year. 10, 6 and 4 at the finish. Josh Tarling moving to the front for the Ineos Grenadiers on the right hand side in that orange jersey. 45 k's to go. The breakaway hasn't broken up, they're back together. All friends again.
For now. Well, I think it was the best thing to do was just to knock it off up front and allow the others to come back here and, you know, get into this position again where they can, you know, all just contribute and keep on riding, because you see 113 at the moment. You know, it is a nice advantage, and they want to keep up here, and some have more interest, of course, to pick up more GPM points as we go further in, and it looks like they could hang out there for, you know, another opportunity to go for these mountain classification points, and get over to that position.
Il va gagner.
It's a one where they know for a long time that this is a very difficult one, but you never know what can happen to the peloton. Sometimes we can see maybe a big crash and everything slows down. Something can happen back there, so you just keep on working at it. And of course, we all know when you're out in front, you're on TV, you're getting that airtime. That's what it's all about as well for their sponsors who are paying the bills.
44 bornes, 1,14. 1,14.
Oh, Luis Aulard is at the front for Movistar. of moving up towards the front. You can know we're getting towards the business end because Jonas Vingegaard is being escorted.
Ça tient le coup.
He's got Eduardo Affini in front of him. And Victor Campenaerts behind. Oh dear, dear, dear. That almost ended in tears on the right-hand side.
Well held there, and yeah, that's what these guys can do so well. You can, you know, bump shoulders very heavily, and you get knocked over against the rider at the other side. But yeah, we could see there everybody just, you know, keeping their posture and, you know, hold upright, and yeah, got through it there well. And yes, that's what they do. You know, it was a perfect shot there, what we could see, and that happens so much that we do not see it a lot of the time in the peloton. You know, when we have the front-on shots, you can see the, you know, the first riders, but back there in, you know, second and third line, it's always going on, and you can see here the islands in the middle of the road, and yeah, this is always concerning times for the riders, and the GC manager said that is important, and we could see Vingegaard there very much at the front. That's where you've got to be as a GC man. You have to. It's not a day where I don't think you're going to, you know, win a lot against your other challenge of the GC, but staying safe, that is the most important thing to get through today and tomorrow, of course, as well.
Yeah, be in contention for when the GC stages really start. More traffic islands. And you can tell who's been doing the homework, because the likes of Vingegaard will be moved up coming up to these points. This is Niels Paulit. He's having a chat with the race direction here. You're watching stage one of Paris-Nice from Achères to Carrières-sur-Poissy. Only a few kilometres as the crow flies separate the two towns. But this is the opening day of Paris-Nice. We do loops, we move around the Yvelines region, very close to the French capital, Paris. And today we're all well into it. Approaching the final couple of loops. We've just had a bit of road furniture in and around. That sounds like a spoke or something. Down all, I think. That is Dan Orla, now in Decathlon. A spoke or a mech. It's going to need a bike change. And a quick one as well, because he could be a key player in the finale. Could the strong Dutchman, formerly of Lidl Trek, he's moved over for Decathlon this year. They're a team who are on the march. In a long time since they took any victory at Paris-Nice, though. Looking up before, it's been over a decade. Carlos Betancourt, remember him? Bananito. 12 seasons since he won on the Mur de Fayence. He did win that Paris-Nice as well. Colombian Paris-Nice winner in 2014, but no stage win since then for the now Decathlon, what was Agir Desert team. We had a corner on the cobbles, just a taste of what's to come in Belgium again in a couple of weeks. And at the front, despite the couple of riders really interested in the King of the Mountains jersey going off and battling it out for points on the second of four classified climbs, I should say. Everybody's back together again. 6 riders with 1 minute 11. On peloton, you feel really had them in their reach. It's a strong group, this. The roads are difficult, quite sinuous. Loads of traffic furniture at the minute. A lot of the big GC leaders have been brought up towards the front of the peloton. We even saw an image a minute ago, while some of you were away, of Niels Paulit, seemingly not too happy with a bit of the parkour. He came around to complain to the race direction.
Yes, it was an interesting one there, and just wondering what he was talking about. We could see a lot of the traffic islands there. Sometimes, you know, there's a person standing there and they have the whistle, and You know, it's going back a long time, the whistle. I remember when you be in the peloton, you hear that whistle, then immediately you look up and, you know, it's just alert you and, you know, be looking out what's coming. Maybe that's the problem. There's some of them there where they have that, the whistle guy, and in other places they're not there at all. But, yeah, it's impossible. We know now, you know, all this road furniture is just impossible to have somebody in every little island, that every village and every town they go through. Was that what he was talking about? But yeah, you just have to, you know, be just fully on it here, fully alert, and yeah, your teammates are very important as well. That they give the call, they give the signal when, you know, there is an island coming up or there's something on the road which you have to really be careful for.
It's a nice day. And into the final 40 kilometres here. This is Casper Pedersen on the back. Those of you just joining us, he took those maximum 3 points at that second climb. He did so at the first climb. Lebert this time second, Walker third. It was the other way round on the first climb. So the standings so far, Pedersen with 6 points. 2 climbs still to go. And Lebert and Walker on 3 points each. The other 3 riders in the breakaway, Gamper, Durbridge and Grignard, have not taken a point. Keep your eyes, because this is the circuit. Just saw that sign saying Arrivé. Finish line 5Ks to go. Now Pedersen has a problem here. Or at least he wants to talk to the car.
Not a great bottle there. Not sticky enough. And it was interesting, what was he on about the next climb? Climb, I was wondering, was he saying, yeah, I have enough here, I've got what I needed out of the day, but the, yeah, his team director there saying at the next climb, so he probably wants them to get to the next climb and try and go for maximum points. But you can see there as well, there's a little bit of rivalry between the 2 men that are challenging here to try and get this polka dot jersey at the end of the day.
That was Nicky Terpstra, by the way, former rider.
Yeah, that's
Nicky, who was in the car now with Soudal Quickstep.
Yeah.
They've really gone back this year to this sort of classics identity, not just with the riders they've signed, but a few sports directors come on board like Terpstra. Interesting with Jasper Stuyven. I guess if you look at Jasper Stuyven, that's a transfer that was always going to happen one day. Certainly with Soudal Quickstep, they were the big classics team.
Martinez, c'est vrai qu'il y a Martinez. Il pourrait faire un coup, Martinez.
Well, they are certainly more back to something like they were a number of years ago. That you know, the one-day races, the classic races, winning stages. It's a team now that looks more and more like that. And of course, yeah, they were in that position there where, you know, they had Remco. They were trying to build around him. Never really built a strong enough team, and that's the reason also I think Remco felt that, yeah, moving was the best thing to do for him to, you know, boost his future for, you know.
C'est étonnant qu'Evenepoel n'ait pas allé faire ce Paris-Nice. Ça lui convient bien, le parcours. Et je pense. Non?
It's going to be an interesting one because there's other riders in that team as well who have proved they're, you know, 3-week stage race riders, and it's going to be an interesting season this year.
Mathis Lebert.
Within Red Bull.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Last week was a bit tough with the weather. The rain was a bit on the limit for me, but yeah, I had a pretty nice week. Some recovery and build up for this important.
Pretty good. You already won this season. What about your climbing? Because there is some climbing to do in the final today.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty confident with my shape, especially for today. On the last part of the race, there is quite a short and steep climb. I think that it's the type of race that I like. So yeah, I think it's we will see today on the on the race, but I'm pretty sure I think I have legs to pass this climb.
Would it even be an advantage for you to drop some of the sprinters, maybe less climber than you?
Let's hope and let's see. And yeah, I think it's going to be pretty tough day. But yeah, we have a strong team and we try to do our best to win the first stage.
Still so much more to come from Binyam. He's a superstar already. He's only 25, Sean.
Yes, well, of course, he did spring onto the scene there, and remember, his Tour of France performance, his winning stages, winning the green jersey, and yeah, he's definitely at the age he's at. It's the time now to start, starting to put up performances again, because yeah, if you go through another season where it's very, very lean, you don't get the bigger results, winning small races or small races, he's a rider that I would certainly think a lot of people, and certainly himself and within the team, they've been hoping that he can win bigger ones and, just kick on from where he did in the Tour of France a number of years ago, and that performance he was doing, and yeah, it's looking good, and, he started out real well, but I'd not be too concerned about, the last weekend, of course, the weather conditions, all of that. It'll be interesting to see now today, tomorrow and this one, and the next number of weeks will be, I think, give us a real insight what Bini can do.
He won his first day in his new kit in Torreblanca in Valencia, won in Almeria as well. This, by the way, is what the last kilometre's going to look like. It's so narrow in places here. It goes uphill slightly as well. You just saw that last image of the peloton when we were listening to Binyam, that there were the little bits of dividers in the middle of the road as well. It is sketchy, and it's going to need fast trains and real control, isn't it, to look after your men?
Yes, it will. It'll be important that you have a real good train and a number of teammates there to pull you out into the position where you need to be for the final sprint, certainly, but also that technical part. But I think after the climb, it will pull it out a lot, so it will be stretched out a bit. But again, you're still going to have quite a lot of riders. I feel there will be, there should be 40 or 50 riders certainly able to get over and stay together, and that's enough to cause problems, because they're all going to be fighting for that front end, and there's not going to be enough space, what we see there, for 50 riders to be in in a real good position. So there is going to be a fight no matter what the number is coming into the finish.
They've still got to come through this part of road 2 more times. So the next time through the finish line, we'll have an intermediate sprint, 6, 4 and 2 bonus seconds, and then after that it'll be the grand finale itself. Yeah, the road does widen a little in that final 400-500 meters, but it's the part just before the Flamme Rouge here, and this section that gets really narrow. You've got the turn with the speed there. Everyone just having a good look at it here.
Yes, well, they will have a good look at it a number of times, and the good thing, as we mentioned in the earlier part of our program, the dry conditions, because you could see here the wet conditions. Fourth stage, there's a lot of riders with a lot of energy here, where when you go into the race and you get 4 or 5 days done, they're not as aggressive, and it calms down a bit. But the big opener, of stage racing, Paris-Nice, everybody's really up for it, and the dry conditions will make it that safer, but that does not guarantee there could be problems in the run in here, because of, this is quite a technical one, and yeah, depend on how fast it goes up the climb and how much it's stretched out, and if it continues on all the way to the finish, well, then it will be pulled out quite a lot. But if it slows up front, there's a little bit of looking around to get organised again, get together as a lead-out train, and could a lot of riders, get into the front end.
Two laps to go. Breakaway up ahead.
Ça tient le coup.
Peloton are happy to let them be ahead. Søren Kragh at the front, now Danish champion. One of a record number of national champions at this Paris-Nice. He's alongside the British champion there, Sam Watson.
Jorgensen, je crois. Non, il n'est pas.
11 national champions, by the way, for the record.
Adriatico.
Kraus with Godon, Romeo, Vatsek, Skuinch, Leknesen, Aular. I mentioned Watson. There's Oliveira. There's Fedorov. And Kluckers. The gap's gone up there and through that section whilst the peloton were just being conservative.
Yes, it is creeped up, and this is going to be an interesting one because all the riding all day, keeping it under control, but then you get into the final and there's teams up there in the front, but nobody wants to take control and boss it and try and close down this advantage. So sometimes it can just creep out a bit and they can hold on to the advantage or even gain a bit as they have. And we can see the roundabout there just a moment ago on the left-hand side. We could see the plastic bales or whatever they are, water tanks, and it's a one where in the peloton you have to be careful, and that's where the director sportif will be important, that he can guide us through those danger points.
Pour aller au bout. Ah ouais. Moi ça va au bout ça. Les gars, faites pas. Vous avez fait le plus dur.
136. Now what happens here in this bunch? Is it just going to be that fight for position that keeps the pace up? Or is someone going to take up the chase again? For now it seems to be the former. You've got Ineos here. Lidl. Visma Lisa bike.
Comment elle s'appelle?
Groupama. Red Bull alongside them. All teams just keeping the GC leaders safe.
Côte de Chanteloup-les-Vignes. Est-ce que ça s'écrit comme ça? Ouais, ça va. Chanteloup-les-Vignes. Ça va faire mal là, les gars.
There's your man with a whistle.
Ah. Auclair, c'était un bon Auclair, faut pas chier.
Take a good look at the Côte de Chanteloup-les-Vignes. It's coming up in the next couple of kilometers. It's a climb that's taken on twice.
Ineos, Visma quand même.
This is narrow, this is nervous.
41, ça prend.
One carriageway, and in about a minute and 20 seconds,
franchement, ils vont au bout.
a really sharp left turn here
cette histoire.
with a traffic island smack bang in the middle. It's that stage of the season. Nobody wants to see their springs wrecked, but unfortunately at Paris, somebody already often has their spring wrecked.
Yes, we could see there in that roundabout one rider went to the left-hand side of those plastic bollards, and a little bit of danger zone there. We did see
il y a ouais, non, ils sont vraiment...
as you say, Rob,
il y a Labora à gauche, Visma à gauche,
take the risk to stay up front. That's all part of
et Ineos à droite. J'espère qu'ils vont pas chuter, c'est con. Il n'y a pas de raison. Une 40. C'est bien une 40. On va le faire, hein, pour voir ce qu'ils ont dans les jambes, dans la côte. Il y a Zuyo. Ouais. Il est là, hein. Du coup, Zuyo, sur une semaine, il n'est pas forcément ridicule par rapport à Vingegaard. Je me dis que Alors, côte de Chanteloup-les-Vignes, 1 km, 8%. Ça va. Pas trop méchant, mais ça va. Voilà, 25 à l'heure sur du 6%, c'est pas mal. Sur du 8%, 20 à l'heure. 9%, 21, 10%, il y a du 10% quand même. 11%, toujours à 20 à l'heure. Ça arrache.
Both Luke Durbridge and Patrick Gamper in there.
Ah, ils sont à 18, attention, attention. Ouais, c'est comme quoi, ils vont pas forcément... Ils s'arrachent. 10%, 18, 11%, toujours 18. Ah, il résiste bien dans la pente, il résiste bien. 12%. Wow. Si, ouais, c'est une vraie cote. C'est que 1 km, mais il a sans passer. Ils la font 2 fois, je crois, encore. Donc il y a quoi? Tête de la course, un Géco, un Loto, un coup, un EF, un Total Énergie, un Soudal et encore un 2 Géco. Oh, ils sont bien là, ils tiennent bien je trouve. Ah, Eduardo a fini son travail. Et le Campenard. Campenard qui envoie du lourd. Ah là, ils se font mal à la gueule là. Ah, ils sont plus qu'à 14 au sommet. Oh. Pedersen. Wow. Ils ont du jeu quand même, on peut le dire. Maillot à poissoir, Campenard, Pedersen. Alors, à Campenard. Vingegaard a l'air bien. Bien entouré de ses équipiers. Ils ont le beau temps, ils sont cool. Arrache pas les poumons comme ça. Il y a eu des années, ils faisaient genre 0 quoi. C'est la course au soleil, c'est ça. Alors, il y a des lâchés. 1,27, ça commence à baisser. Une 27. C'est encore jouable, mais les rouleaux compresseurs derrière.
No. Not at the moment. We can see here they're just again control position. That's what the GC teams are doing, and 121 at the moment. It depends on how well they get organised. Just really work well together and hold on to this 120 plus advantage and get to the final climb.
C'est costaud ça pourtant.
I think it will really start pushing on here, but that climb.
Il n'y a qu'un kilomètre. Il doit pas être bien.
On our screens, it always looks that bit easier. Actually, when you're out there on the bike, that's when you get the real test of it.
Il doit être ça, ça tient le coup. Toujours.
No, they got over very well together, and we can see here in the peloton there's riders losing contract, but they have been doing their job all day, and their day is over, so they're just going to ride into the finish here and think about tomorrow and the days to come and the work they've got to do for the team in the future days.
We just saw von St. Maartensdijk and
also
the Swiss time trialist Bissiger being dropped at the back. No surprises there really, and they've been working for their team. The next time they're on this stretch of road, there'll be just less than 11 kilometers to go to the finish.
Campenard, l'équipier modèle. Comme il avait marché en montagne l'année dernière. Donc c'est qui celui-là?
174 in the red. That's William Bloom. It's the Danish rider. Hamilton, of course,
Castrillo, hors de fort. Pas bon ça. Alors 1,22, 25 bornes. Oula. Calmos. C'est quoi cette équipe là?
And they are working very hard here with Binyam Girmay on their wheel.
T'as remis les gaz.
right away, that time gap starts to come down.
Ouais, 25 bornes, une 22, ça.
Well, I think it's a one where some of the teams I think are going to be thinking that this gap, you know,
6 devant quand même. Ça fait de la main d'œuvre.
You know what's to come in between this climb they've just got over into the next one.
Enfin, voilà, ils sont...
It's going to be an important one that they, you know, push on a bit and pull down this advantage, because this is definitely too much to allow the breakaway to go on to the final climb of the day. The breakaway are looking very solid, and you know they're all contributing very well, and if they continue on doing that until, you know, the next climb, and then they maybe get over the next climb with a number of riders, maybe not all. It might be a one where
un Pisseguer, il a pété dans une petite bosse, quoi. Il a peut-être fait du boulot. On ne sait pas.
Asian champion. He's following on today. A real motor. If he could do something. In the meantime, it looks as though Carlos Rodriguez might have an issue. Got his hand up on the left-hand side.
Ça ne rigole pas.
Another nervous turn, and SN are really starting to push it on now. Gap's gone down to just below 120. Visma at the front with him. It's going to be a bike change for Carlos Rodriguez. Front tyre, not a great time, this.
No, not a great time when you're inside this final 25 kilometres the way it's going, but he will get back there, and getting back into the tail end of the peloton, you know, he's going to use the cavalcade of cars, but then to make your way up, that is going to be probably more of an effort. You can use the cars, you know, the drafting from one car to the other, and you know the team directors are very good at that. You know, they always give a little bit of a hand to the rival teams just to get them back into the cars. But as I said, you can see in the peloton here how difficult, you know, road fully.
23 bornes.
That's where the big effort will be, to get into a position where you're safe as a GC man, and that means in the top 30 or 40 places, no further back in the peloton.
We just saw Ian Stannard there talking a big
ça tient.
off there for Ineos Grenadiers. He's their sports director.
Well, he would give a good push off. He's got the power. Big stand.
Always get a thought of him every time the Omloped Newsblad comes around.
Oh, no. It's just, it was amazing. We did see some of it, you know, the recent again, of course, and what a day that was, and like that was a performance. Against, you know, the Belgium team, the big Belgium names. My God, he was on fire that day.
Half of the quartet are in the cards today, because we saw Nicky Terpstra before. Of course, Terpstra, Bonen and Van den Berg. That was the three he beat. Won it 2 years in a row. Now then, back in the breakaway, 1:18. Will they start to get serious and excited here? 22 kilometres to go. Mathis Lebert certainly is. He's pulling strongly at the front, the young Frenchman. 24 now from Brittany. Moved over to Total after the collapse of the Arkea team. Many a breakaway last year in some of the big classics. He's a really strong young rider. He comes from a place in France where cycling is a religion, in Brittany.
Faudra que je fasse ça, tiens.
Now riding for Total Energy.
Merde.
They're happy they will return to the Tour de France again this year.
On va essayer. Non?
Jekar Lula obviously knew there was a chance today with their two riders up there. They've got two of the strongest riders on the flat as well in De Camper. It's an exciting finish that's brewing up. Just over 20 Ks to go. See you in a moment. Rodriguez all alone here, making his way through the cars. Can see the back of the peloton at least. Thankfully, we'll get a little bit of assistance. After a mechanical, you can't really begrudge any rider this. And not an ideal part of the parkour to get back on either. Through these roads, peloton keeping the pace side to try and stay safe. twisting, turning. And Fedorov here on the back. None of the Ineos Grenadiers dropping back to help Rodriguez. They have multiple leaders here. Oscar on lead. Kevin Vauquelin as well. Oh, that's a long way. Still a big effort just to make contact. And still holding at 118. Now then. What a fight we're enjoying on this first day of Paris.
Voilà. On se sent mieux. Oh là là, oh là là, oh là là, oh là là. Les gars, ça craint pour mon cul.
It's hardly budging this. It goes down by a couple of seconds. It comes back up again. We saw Rodriguez having to fight hard at the back. Nobody from the Ineos Grenadiers dropping back to help him. Just off the back through that town there. It was difficult. It really is game on now. And the gap on the road, still over a kilometre. There is Rodriguez, finally just know how to make contact.
And sometimes when you have a mechanical at this stage in the race, it's probably better just to use the cars and the cavalcade, get back onto the peloton, because if you
ils ont fait l'erreur là, on sait avoir.
3 or 4 riders together from a team getting back on, you cannot use the cars to the full extent that you can do it as
Ça se sent.
It's a one now where the team, domestics, the riders,
Ça se sent que
c'est peloton, and get 1 or 2 riders to try that. But we can see with Ineos Grenadiers, of course, they have a number of riders to protect here.
Just see at the back there's an issue, mechanical issue for Pascal Ackermann, it seemed. At the front now, Cofidis have come to help. And they've got real options today. Coquard is one, Fritin is another, and at a push, you've got Pete Alacart as well. Really fast finishers. Chain's off. It's another poorly timed mechanical at back. This time the victim is sprinter Pascal Ackermann. He keeps looking back. The car must be a long way back here. They've just been through the town. First time on this straight road, but you've got road furniture left and right.
Ça va pas au split, les gars. Les gars, ils sont 6, c'est le nombre idéal.
Just over 1 lap to go. This will be the final kilometer. But it's just over a 60
La gagne au bout, il reste 17 points. On va le faire.
A strong group, 6 riders, 1 minute 16 seconds. Ackermann's hoping to be there. But he's going to need a quick change, and he's going to have to expend quite a bit of energy now, Sean.
Yes, we can see there the chain has gone slack, and he's still able to keep on riding there, but you cannot, ride into the final with that problem. And you have to make the change now, get back in there, and to get up through the peloton, because there will be riders just getting dropped out of the peloton. They will be just finishing the race.
Il était pas là, il est pas là, il est où, lui?
Team, and this is going to be a big energy demand for Ackermann, and then to be up there for the sprint, it's going to be a difficult one. And it's going to just get faster here, because we can see 160 at the moment. This breakaway, they're putting up a great fight. I thought, as we got into the final 50 kilometers, the speed of the peloton positioning, that this gap would come down a lot more, but it hasn't, and now it's going to be an interesting final here.
6, 4 and 2 bonus seconds for first, second and third across the line, but this group is not thinking about that. They're thinking of winning the stage.
Les 16 bornes.
At the front, it's Patrick Gamper, the Austrian. The bell
16 bornes
rings,
toujours dans le coup, ça tient.
Grignard is interested in bonus seconds. He moves up, but
On
I'm
y
not sure
croit.
he's going to get any. That was touch and go for third place, I think, there with Pearson. And behind on the technical run-in. This is where the peloton lost a bit of time last time, as they were a bit conservative. Liedler at the front. They're doing a good job keeping Juan Ayuso towards the front.
Allez, deuxième ascension.
One of his big issues when he was at UAE, his positioning. 2 riders in front of him, including Søren Kragh. At the front, Cofidis, well, we think they're riding to try and set up a sprint here. Yes, they've got Yonis Aguirre in terms of the overall, but they have Fritin, sprinter in form. He's won already this year. They have Alakard and they have Kokar as well. Another man who's won this year.
Well, I think it's definitely for the sprint here that Cofidis are working.
Chante toutes les villes.
He can, do a general classification performance, but I don't think he's going to be in a real, position.
On va donner. Oh là, ça va encore aller. Hein. 55 oh putain, ça diminue d'un coup. 5 secondes pour l'échapper. Ça pue. Il va falloir s'accrocher, les gars. Quel chrono là, mec? Le bon Jaja là, qu'est-ce qu'il nous fait là? Quel chrono? T'es payé pour, mon gars. Après bon, c'est beau. Le circuit plutôt. C'est... Ah mais attends, on est passé de 55 à 1,5. Bloc, à la bloc. Là, les meilleurs, faut qu'ils se détachent dans la bosse. De toutes parts. Que ce soit dans l'échappée ou dans le peloton. Pour tenter, quoi. C'est pas une journée dure aujourd'hui. C'est leur premier jour. Le profil sur la première moitié de course était plutôt facile. Il n'y a pas de vent, il fait beau. C'est sèche. Tout est bon pour tenter des trucs. Faut ça tenter, les gars, faut tenter. Ah, la route, un billard, la route. Oh. Donc là, côté droite de la gauche de la route, la Bora, la Décathlon. Oulala, ça se resserre. Bon, la route reste bonne. Plate. Propre. C'est plutôt pas mal. Donc ouais, toujours à 14 bornes. Grande garce. Non. Salut, je suis Sorel. Allez, bon, les mecs. Casse-bol. Ok. Ça roule vraiment à bloc, mais ça bouge pas hein, vraiment. Devant, il va falloir que ça passe un sacré pétard hein, dans le kilomètre pour au moins battre les sprinters même. Les sprinters, c'est trop raide. Je me dis pour eux, par rapport à un grimpeur, puncher. Après, qui c'est qui a? Bon, il n'y a pas grand monde hein, sur cette course. Ils sont surtout allés à Tirreno cette année. Après, il y a eu pas mal de chutes des costauds. Alors là, normalement, ils perdent du temps. Hein. Alors, on peut dire ça, New Ridge.
Intermediate sprint points on your screen. Patrick Gamper took those. He also took the bonus seconds. 6, 4 and 2 there for first, second and third. A good day for Pearson so far. King of the Mountains as well. Now Decathlon moving up through the centre. All about Kiss Ball here. Dan Hall is just in front of his compatriot and it's Scottson at the front. All round from a track rider. Keep your eyes on Lawrence Pithy as well today.
56 secondes, 13 km.
We were really impressed with him at this race a couple of years ago, weren't they? He sort of went off the boil when he went to Red Bull last year.
Yes, and it's going to be an interesting one. Still that 51 seconds at the moment, and we can
see ça peut faire. Donc ça, là, ceux qui lâchent maintenant, là, c'est ceux qui sont hors de forme. Ils ont des petits soucis. À ce niveau, tu lâches pas. Hein. Donc il y a quoi? Il y a Castrillo, il y a un Cofidis. Après, bon, ils ont peut-être bossé, comme on dit. Ça va donner, ça va donner.
Wide corner almost for a couple of riders there. Most just about getting through. Red Bull moving up far.
Ouais, bah oui.
Again, Biniam's just looking after himself. NSN not having too many bodies. They've worked hard all day.
Ça va pas tarder à péter.
Not too many riders in and around.
Ça va péter, ça va péter. Voilà. Alors on y est presque. Ça y est. Ça y est, 1,1 km. 8,3 de moyenne, avec des pointes à 12, brièvement. Et du 10, 11, 12, bien qui arrache. Voilà, Soraka Anderson, Caro, il s'est fumé. Donc voilà, 46 secondes toujours, 46 au pied. C'est juste, il va falloir freiner les gars. Qu'eux, ils peuvent plus vraiment accélérer, ils s'en bloquent. Et genre 1h30 quoi. Bon, il y a l'EF, il y a un EF qui a un bon coup de pédale. À Vauclin. Et à Vauclin qui pourrait tenter un coup comme ça. Pour le général quoi. Tu fais un coup là. Après, tu fais un bon contre la montre par équipe. Voilà, c'est l'EF qui part. Pedersen qui amortit le... Ça s'accroche pas mal. Voilà, c'est en bloc, là. 500 mètres du sommet. Les trois derrière qui sont un peu décollés, ils tiennent. Hein. Mais voilà, voilà, ça tient, 40 secondes. J'aimerais que moi, penser attaque. Vauclin, franchement, Vauclin. Il est aussi fond, pied au plancher, et il fait le sommet, quoi. Il sort 50 mètres au sommet, et puis il va jusqu'à l'arrivée à fond. Ça le débloque. Ça débloquera, mec. Attaque de Mathis Lebert. Une bonne attaque, mais bon, il y a 300 mètres à 12%, là, 10, 11, 12. On va les sentir passer, ça va être long. Ouais. Et là, à mon avis, ils sont méga limite. Donc Mathis Lebert, c'est bien parti. Maintenant, all-in. Hein. Faut tenter. Le coup jusqu'à l'arrivée. Ça passe ou ça casse. Oula. Evan Costio qui attaque dans le peloton française des Jeux. Il y a ça en haut, là, ça en haut. Voilà, ça a un bon pétard, il reste 20 secondes. 20 secondes. 10 bornes. Mais voilà, ça risque de se regarder et de se regrouper, du coup, c'est plus favorable au premier de l'échapper. Ayuso qui est là, Vingegaard qui est là, tout le monde quoi. C'est groupé. Bon bah ça valait pas le coup. C'est trop fort pour une montée d'un kilomètre. C'est pas assez raide. C'est pas assez dur pour eux. Ils passent ça comme la petite bosse de la maison. Ah, puis c'est Paché, Quentin Paché, j'ai reconnu. Quentin Paché qui en remet une avec Total Energy qui défend son coureur là. ne va pas relayer. Et là en couverture, quoi. C'est bien, c'est bien. Ça protège Matisse devant. Enfin, ça. Mais bon, il a repris 30 secondes, 30 secondes. 30 secondes. Voilà, c'est bien, il a repris 10 secondes, parce qu'en fait... Ah merde, ça va revenir. Bon bah, ils sont à 5. On va sûrement se regrouper à 5. Ouais, je pense que ça va tenir. Ils vont être 5. Échapper à 5. Échapper de 5. De 5. Ça va le faire. Bonnard, toujours là. Toujours là, le campeur. Très campeur. Voilà, ils sont à 5, ça relaye. Alors que derrière, il y a Campenard. Il est en solo maintenant, il roule. Mais voilà, Campenard costaud, hein, parce que ça a flingué. Et lui, il a pas suivi les flingues, il est resté une poil au même niveau de puissance. Aïe aïe aïe, ça a reperdu 23, ça relaye plus à comme il faut. Parce que ça fait chier de rouler pour quelqu'un qui va te taper au sprint. Faut au moins aller jusqu'au kilomètre les gars, et après vous tentez votre coup. Voilà, là, oulala. Oulala. 20 secondes. Je veux dire, ouais, non, mais là, ils sont mal. Ça risque de... Ah, j'aurais pu... J'y croyais, moi, mais... Il y a Axel Zinglet qui est fort au sprint. Aïe, 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 ça roule à bloc, le peloton. J'espère bien que ça va finir au sprint. Ils sont 5 encore, c'est plutôt pas mal pour relayer. Fais tout ça pour te faire rouler à bloc. 80 km/h dans la descente. On voit du lourd.
20 seconds. Still 7 Ks to go. This is Pete Alacart at the back. See anything left to get involved in any lead outs or anything? Marco Haller's with him as well. Same question.
Oh là 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 là. Putain, le virage à 80. Oh là putain, c'est chaud.
Flying down this hill here.
T'es quand même chaud, hein.
Still 6.5 Ks to go, over 80 Ks an hour as they twist and turn through this village.
Yes, and we can see it's Team Visma Lisa bike pushing on.
Aujourd'hui, enfin, la Godu, je me demande ce qu'il va faire, Godu, Paris-Nice. Ça serait bien qu'il gagne une étape. Faire le général, fait une étape. Mieux, hein, je dirais.
Yeah, Zinglet, not a pure sprinter by any means. He's more of a climber who can sprint a little bit, isn't he? But in this team, the position they found themselves over the hill there, why not hold on and see what happens to go? When they look round, they see the likes of Biniam.
Le général, c'est mort, on contrôle la montre. Ils vont prendre genre 1 minute, 1 minute 30, quoi. Par Ineos, ou même par Visma, hein. Les deux meilleurs, quoi.
Just see them in the back of the shot there. It's Pearson, Gamper,
Walker, 14 secondes, 14, oh non, 30 secondes, 5 km, 5 km.
And a really entertaining stage again.
Ça se bat bien, c'est cool, ça prend les relais à bloc, mais putain derrière, il y a un gars qui roule en mode solo,
Visma at the front once again this year. When you're looking for Jonas Vingegaard, look for the sort of red mark on the helmet, his personal sponsor. Easy to spot from the
Amiral de Visma qui emmène, ça roule fort celui-là.
Just 13 seconds now, and Bruno Amiral is stepping up for the first time to work for Visma Lease Bike. And this is a big turn from the
10 secondes, 10... Oh, aïe, c'est foutu. C'est foutu. 10 secondes, 4 bornes. C'est mort, on les voit. C'est lui, hein. Après, Amiral, lui, quand on lui donne bien la... Il roule fort, cet enfoiré, il met une misère à... Bon, voilà, comme quoi les Français, quand ils vont dans une équipe étrangère, ils marchent. Ah, faut rouler à bloc, les gars, regardez-vous pas. Là, par exemple, là, tu peux reprendre. Ah, sortie. Ils sont passés à gauche, tiens. Il y en a à gauche, il y en a à droite. À gauche, ça avait l'air mieux. Aïe, aïe, à 5 secondes. Non. Ah, c'est mort. 3 bornes. 3 bornes, les mecs, 3 bornes. Peloton groupé, route bien large. Échappé à bloc, qui roule bien encore, qui n'ont pas lâché de morceau. Parfois, ça peut se regarder un peu à 3 bornes. Ah, il y a Cocard qui peut essayer un... Ou alors qui va lancer son sprinter. Il est en forme. Cocard est toujours en forme dans cette période. Ah, ça résiste, ça résiste. C'est trop dur. Aïe, aïe, aïe. Donc là, peut-on bien grouper, il n'y a pas de file indienne, il veut dire que le vent, il est pas là, quoi. Ah, ceux qui partent à droite, là, du rond-point, c'est pas le bon, quoi. It's going to be a one where positioning and if you have teammates there to give you a lead out or keep you in the good position, that's going to be of major importance for the sprinters that are still survived in here in the main peloton.
Giving up the ghost now in that breakaway because
c'est mort. 2 bornes. Ah, 2 bornes. 2 bornes. Regroupement.
Is Milan
Regroupement. Imminent.
Other teams move up as well. Keep your eyes on Biniam. Where is he? Casper van Uden, well, they work for him all day. Do picnic posts
C'est mort.
their first victory. We're inside the final couple of kilometers now. Pearson and Grignard, the only 2 riders remaining. Sudal quick step out here at the front. Ready, maybe just trying to take the heat out of it a little bit as well, but their main man now looks behind too. He's given up the ghost.
Ah, il y en a qui essaie d'insister, de l'échapper. 5, il aura remis un petit coup de rein. Oh, putain, c'est mort. Presque à la flamme rouge. Ah. Alors, ça s'excite. Alors, on n'aime pas les sprints ici, nous. Dans la merde. Jasper Steven, 2 kilomètres. Flamme rouge. C'est Zimley. Ah, une chute. Mais légère. Ça va. Pas méchante. Deuxième chute. Deux chutes. Ça va, il s'est pas fait mal, il a pas... Martinez, il s'est fait accrocher, mais il perdra pas de temps, c'est pas grave. Alors, Binyam Guilhermet. Binyam Guilhermet. Ah, Guilhermet. Ah, Guilhermet, t'as pas choisi de bon côté. Il n'a pas pu faire son sprint. Bon, lui, je pensais pas qu'il gagnerait. Et là, il s'est quand même... Ah, il s'est quand même râpé tout le dos. À moins que ça soit du sel.
Yes, and that was a real messy sprint we could see there. You know, there was no team in control where they were given that good lead out. It was all about just waiting and hold off and trying.
Avec William Guilhermet coincé dans les barrières. Mauvais choix. Donc EF, je connais pas trop le vainqueur.
For EF Education Easy Post. And yes, that was an understatement. That was messy. Deary me. It's one of those where you're looking for the line as well.
C'était un sprint un peu à l'arraché, pas dominant. Pas vu de cocard, pas vu de... Après bon...
We'll have to watch this a few times, but we heard from Luc Lamperti at the start of the day. He was confident in himself, and he's brought it home.
Yes, well, he was just in a good position there, and he decided to kick it off. We could see there, you know, he probably would prefer maybe to just wait a little bit more, but sometimes you have to go because you're just concerned about getting crowded out a bit and riders coming over. But yeah, a powerful.
Il y a quand même le peloton qui a été bloqué. Tu vois? Luc Lamperti, c'est qui? Je connais pas trop. Guilhermet, il aurait dû aller à gauche. On va voir s'il pouvait y aller. Voilà, il pouvait sortir à gauche là. Voilà, Guilhermet, il est parti à droite, qu'il avait largement la place à gauche.
Sprinting on the left there for Cofidis.
Cocard.
That is Brian Cocard.
Ah, c'était Guilhermet le plus fort, physiquement.
That's Fretin. Oh, yes. And also there is Vitor Brat on the left-hand side as well. I think Brat might end up in second place, you know, there for Lotto. That is a crazy, messy...
Bon, Guilhermet le plus fort aujourd'hui, mais... On fait dans la barrière. Mauvais choix. Pourtant, c'est con parce que on voyait bien qu'il aurait pu rester un peu à gauche, qu'il était à égalité avec... il était dans la même ligne, hein, quasiment. Il aurait pu tenter son sprint et il y avait franchement moyen. Il est quand même pas mal bloqué dans la chute. Lamperti, Vebrit, ça ne les connaît plus, mais à part Guilhermet, Tennyson, Zinglel, Guilhermet, Florine, Colin Lolland, Donaldson. Alors ça, c'est que des mecs que je connais pas, du sprint. Guilhermet était vraiment uni au niveau des forces. Ouais, il a fait le con, Guilhermet. Il est quand même dingue, il avait la victoire au bout. Easy, quoi.
For his new team, he's done the
Pas
business.
une soirée. Ah. Bon, on gagne pas tout le temps.
Well, we started in the grey, in the cold, and it would look like it was a traditional Paris start. But then the sun came out, 6 riders were up the road and racing around the Yvelines region. This was the breakaway.
On va large. J'y remets 4e ou 5e. Le pire, c'est que les gars qui le doublent, ils étaient derrière lui. Il avait largement le moyen, quoi. En plus, on peut pas dire qu'il y avait un vent fou aujourd'hui. Tu pouvais... Voilà, c'est quand même chaotique.
Niels Paulet, not impressed. First time across the finish line. But we're still waiting for things to really kick off.
Allez.
So were they.
À la prochaine.
Gap at 140 here with 28 Ks to go, and you started to think the break had a chance. Pearson would confirm his King of the Mountains prize.
Bon, petite étape gentille. Gentille petite étape.
Visma keeping Vingegaard, the big favourite, safe and giving Zingler a chance.
Allez, en couple là.
Well, it wouldn't be a great day for Carlos Rodriguez.